let's talk about we wanted to bring up the conversation on the Constitution. We're seeing some kind of loggerheads between all levels. Yeah, so the executive and the judiciary don't seem to see eye to eye. You've just said now that you're not yes men because people are accusing the legislators, which is the legislative arm, of playing to the tunes of the executive. And I'd like to hear from you, Ruku. Has this been handled properly, or is there a general lack of respect for the Constitution and the separation of powers? We've seen the president talking about the judiciary. We've seen people talking about legislators. What's really going on here?
The thing is, the separation of powers is there. But these three arms of government must check each other. The legislature must check the executive must check the judiciary has to check the executive, has to check the legislature. So these three arms of government have to work together and they have to keep on checking each other. If the judiciary is having, excesses of power, who will check judiciary? The president is coming out to call out judiciary when they go rogue. Because they are Kenyans. They live within our society. They are our sisters and brothers. We know where they socialize. We know they are friends. We know where they go and have a drink. So they are not from us. They are from our villages. So when they have this excessive or intoxication of power, then we have to come out and tell them, no, the programs of government must continue in the most appropriate way. Because who will be the advocate of the poor? Because we have people in the corridors of courts who can be able to buy justice. We know many investors have ran out of this country because they believe that if you have money and you go to court, you'll be able to buy your way.
Why don't you expose these people? Because you keep saying that you know them. Why don't you just expose them? Least of shame.
It has happened in the past. It has happened in the past. We saw Justice Chitwembe, if I am not wrong. He has been thrown out of judiciary. He was exposed by the former governor of Nairobi. So he's not the only one. Probably there are other evidences available. So what you are telling judiciary is that please, we don't need too much activism in judiciary. We need, because we have seen activists who even have become senators, who run to court each and every day to give injunctions of different decisions which have been made by Parliament, which have been made by the executive. Then those decisions are ejected for a year. When will those projects be completed? When will the people of my constituency not have water? Because someone went to court and said this water project cannot be implemented. This road cannot be implemented because of one reason or the other.
Okay.
It is true there are many government institutions which have to work together. There is NEMA. NEMA may come up with an environmental report saying that there will be this and this environmental whatever. Yeah. Okay? But before you run to court, can you exhaust other avenues available, to see whether this thing can be resolved? But they're just sleeping, waking up, drafting petition, running to court and inject the decisions which have been made by executive. We are saying it's not going to happen with William Samoei Ruto government. We are going to call out those judges and especially those who are corrupt and those who are giving idiotic orders. Any idiotic order, court order, must be disobeyed.
Must be disobeyed.
Yes.
Okango, let me bring in on this. Is there a suffering of intoxication of power at the judiciary level? Because, and if you just look at it from the other perspective, for example, NHIF is now phased out, SHIF has not been put in place, so there are people who can't get medical attention at this particular moment. Is it prudent for the judiciary to have stopped that without ensuring that there's a proper transition? Or is there some level of being at loggerheads between executive and the judiciary?
Trevor, any sovereign power that is exercised by the judiciary the legislature and the executive is donated. That power comes directly from the people that he's talking about, the people that Honorable William Ruto are talking about. Those people are the ones holding that power, and they have donated it. The judicial authority that is exercised by the court is an authority from the people. When litigants go to court, they go to court on behalf of the people, particularly on these public interest matters. Now, remember, every person has a right to go to court when they feel that there is a threat to the Constitution or to their rights or to the right of the people. They have that constitutional right to go to court, and you cannot stop it. Whether you are the president, whether you're a member of parliament, you cannot stop it. That is inalienable right that they have. Number three, we have seen instances where we say that the courts are rogue, they are being used by people that are known, and those people are procuring orders, and they know them, but they have not mentioned them. To discipline the judges, there's a procedure under the JSC, and that's why one of the judges today is out, and he has mentioned that, because that process was followed. If for sure they know any judge, they know anyone, any judicial officer that is corrupt, then that due process must be followed so that Kenyans can see that for sure this was followed and this has been found culpable, and therefore he must or she must exit. But they're shouting in rallies, in churches, in funerals. They're just whistling in the dark. That's what they're doing. Number three, Trevor, look at the decisions that have been stopped or the policies that the court has found it fit that these must be stopped through an order, what they now call sabotage. Some of those are issues that emanated from the people. The housing levy itself, for example. Look at that issue of Schiff. When the Court of Appeal refused to lift the order. These are people who went to court and they have to be listened to. But if you are going to do a blanket condemnation to the judiciary and say that they are corrupt and you will deal with them and it will not happen and they will not stop you, then that is a threat to the independence of the judiciary, to the judicial authority, and to the judicial officers, which is not allowed. And therefore, the judiciary are also human beings. They read, they see, they know, they hear. They will deal with that as per the law, as they have done with it. Now, the members of parliament have a duty to ensure that their people, to ensure that they address the issue of concern to their people. That's why they are National Assembly members. However, if you listen to some of the members of parliament, particularly from Kenya Kwanza, that are echoing the voices of the executive on how to deal with judiciary, that they're now branding as rogue, while some of those people are beneficiaries of judicial decision. Some of those people are actually in office because of a decision that was made by a judicial officer, and they believe that that decision was the best decision. So today, because in one way or another, your reckless or punitive policy that you are imposing on the people has been stopped by the court, now you want to do away with the court. You want to do away with the judicial officer. I think we are trying to see aspect of contempt. And when that happens, this regime shall be for sure cited for contempt. But let me tell you, as I finish, Trevor. We know for sure that there could be elements of bad judicial officers. But we are asking them that now that they know them, please proceed and initiate a process of investigating and subjecting them through a due process so that we have a clean judiciary as everyone would want. Otherwise, when you make noise in the rallies, in churches, in funerals, and condemn them in a blanket manner, then you are actually intimidating and threatening even the judicial officers that are good in that field, and they will not execute their work as per the law. But most importantly, every person has an obligation to uphold and defend the Constitution of Kenya, including the president himself. That's why they take oath of office and they hold that. But we are seeing a situation here, Trevor, where they are now trying to interpret the law as if it is a storybook.
And this is where the issue is, Chikati, because then how do you decide which order you will obey, which one you will not, considering the Supreme Court itself
first of all,
this government's election?
Yes, first of all, we need to understand the background, that Kenya is a democracy. And a good democracy is where the judiciary is active. And no one in Kenya wants to kill the judiciary or wants to minimize its powers. You remember the first thing that the president did upon his appointment was to appoint a number of judges in order to strengthen the judiciary. That means that he's working, he has a goodwill towards the judiciary and respects the judiciary as such. That was the first step he did. The second thing we need to understand is that the courts of law, the corridors of law, have different stakeholders, not just the judges. And at no time has the president directed his remarks towards the judges. However, what he has said is that within the corridors of law, there are people who are benefiting from injustice and who do not want some of these processes to take place. We need to understand that, because what my brother Okango is doing is to reduce it as if the president is attacking the judges. The president has not attacked the judges. He has said that within the courts of law, and what I understand even from yesterday's remarks, is that there are people who are benefiting from NSSF and who do not want the universal health coverage to take place. We need to understand that, so that it is not seen like the president is attacking the judges. The other thing we need to understand is that there is the executive and the judiciary are working well. I do not see any conflict. However, and to show you this is when the court stopped the universal health coverage process, the government has to appeal. We are not dictating. We did appeal, and even yesterday, the hearing is going on. The ruling was made, and we respect it. And that can tell you that we are living in a nation that respects the rule of law. Respect between the different arms of government is on. However, the president has a right, as a leader of the country, to say, look, we cannot allow corruption to pass through the courts of law. So that is what I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I'd like us to finish this and touch a bit on the front page of the Daily Nation here.
Yes.
But there's word on the street, and I know you must have heard of this, that people generally believe the country is heading in the wrong direction from all the polls and everything else. Do you think that the Kenya Kwanza regime is losing its popularity among the people who supported it?
Before I come to that, Trevor, it is important to substantiate the point that what I mean by idiotic court orders. On 19th of December 2023, the High Court in Kisumu issued a court order that in the interim there was a conservatory order to prohibit conduct of public participation. And the word which the court used is in the manner prescribed on 9th December 2023 in the record diaries until the application is earned. That means, therefore, Parliament can move and conduct public participation in a manner that is not prescribed in the public diaries. You understand? So, for us to ensure that we are not interfering with the court order which was issued in Kisumu, is to say, okay, you have said that you can't conduct public participation in the manner we prescribed here. So we just need to change this manner. We conduct in a different manner. And we continue with the public participation.
Okay.
So some of the court orders are idiotic. And some of those court orders must be discarded by...
Mind your language, Mheshimiwa. So let's come back to the other issue here.
Yes.
Is the Kenya Kwanza losing its popularity amongst the people who voted it in?
We are always in different part of the support base of Kenya Kwanza, and I can tell you Kenya Kwanza is not losing any support. You have seen President was in Eldoret the other day. Yesterday he was in Laikipia County. And you can see the support, even the sentiment coming from the people. The Kenya Kwanza base, they understand the program which the president is working on, the project which have been implemented by the president and his administration, and we are clearly explaining to the people the journey we are taking and the direction we are taking.
All right.
But we don't expect my brother Okango to understand this at all. No, let's bring
in your brother Okango. Okango, are you aware that there's a new coalition being crafted in 2027, like the Daily Nation headlines here say? Raila is crafting a new coalition for 2027 race.
Maybe before I answer that, Chikati said that the president did not target the judges in any way. But maybe later, after the show, play for him the clips, the instances that he actually mentioned judges and judicial officers. Judges are judicial officers. Number two, the judges and magistrates gave a statement in regards to that. JAC gave a statement in regards to that. LSK, in fact, LSK are even planning a national demonstration to reprimand the president over his remarks. Now, on the issue that you have mentioned, you are talking about the issue as quoted by our able majority leader, Honorable Pio Ndai. You know, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition party is a party. And like any other party, there is always a need to rebrand it. There's always a need to strengthen it. There's always a need to ensure that it lives to its objectives and principles. And that's what our leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, is doing. And that's what you have seen. Majority of the constituent Azimio parties are now rejuvenating, they're strengthening, they're going to their bases, they're recruiting. That is a strengthened Azimio. A stronger ODM is a stronger Azimio. A stronger KANU
or a split Azimio?
No, it's a no.
Heading the Kamwene way.
Remember.
It's time. Maybe it's time
Trevor,
to support him.
Okay, remember, Azimio is a coalition party. Membership is through corporate. It means constituent parties came together to form the big tent. And therefore, no, you cannot speak for Azimio on this table.
It's a divided coalition.
What you are going to see starting 15th, the Azimio coalition constituent parties going back to the people and strengthening them and recruiting to make Azimio stronger.
As Azimio or as individuals? As
individual parties under Azimio. And that will inform the next process. That will inform the next stage. Our leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and even Martha Karua have been very explicit on how to move. And they have said that there are certain things that as a coalition we don't believe in. For example, we don't believe in mistreating the public and taking them through a process that they cannot even afford food. We have to put that on the table and address it. They don't believe in in dealing with the political parties the way we have seen. We believe in political party fidelity. They don't believe in buying left and center. No, let me finish. Let me finish. Now, for sure, like any other party or coalition, it is in the interest of the coalition to bring more members. And I can tell you, in the next contest, even Honorable Ruku will be in the formation that Azimio will be part of. Chikati will be there because they have already confessed that their regime is not doing very well by citing just CDF alone. So if Azimio will be doing better than Kenya Kwanza, as we have always done, then there's nothing wrong stopping Ruku from joining Azimio so that we move forward. And that's what we are doing. And that's what Honorable Wandai is saying, that we are going to see a strengthened coalition party,
so direct
a
question,
strengthened formation.
Are you crafting a new coalition for 2027 or not?
We are strengthening the formation that is led by Raila Amolo Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Martha. And strengthening means you have to go back using its pillars. Its pillars are the constituent parties, KANU, ODM, Wiper, NAK Kenya, and many more. And many more are going to join, as you can see. I can tell you, and I repeat, we have also had some members of Kenya Kwanza saying that maybe they should now join Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Amolo Odinga so that they are in a formation that the people support. Because where they are today, they strongly believe that they're not with the people. Okay. If you look at what happened in Laikipia, people are running away. Ruiru, people are running away. The people who voted for Kenya Kwanza have had their Damascus moment. And they're even telling people like Honorable Ruku that for us here, if you cannot put food on our table, you cannot take our children to school, then we'd rather be with Raila Amolo Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka and Martha in the formation that they are crafting, in the formation that's going to secure them. That is for a fact.
You see, once you are used to doing something, same thing at different times, and it is not working, you better abandon it. And Raila has been very good at forming these things of coalitions since the time of CORD, then NASA, then Azimio, and then, first of all, I hear even that Azimio has been disbanded by the ODM headquarters. They are not associated with it. So my brother here, Okango, may be behind news. So what he's supposed to do is that Raila is very good at betrayal. We know what he did to people, and many people are not willing to join the Raila coalitions anymore. He should be able to craft another way of looking for votes, of entering communities and people, rather than just looking for someone here and there to help him win the elections, which has been very, very difficult. So Azimio is not there. I was in ODM before, all of us. There is no Luya who has never stood with Raila Odinga. And all of us have been facing betrayal after another since the time of Mudavadi, Wetangula, Wamalwa Kijana. And so you should be able to look for another way. Nobody is willing to join your bandwagon. It is full of betrayal. We are happy where we are. You better now look at how Mheshimiwa Ruto is doing, and then, if possible, tell Raila to join our coalition.
Trevor, yes. Azimio is made of very weak, indecisive, timid, fathers of anarchy and chaos, leaders who don't have any right, if I may use that word, to claim that any position of leadership in this country. Because if you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, he's one of the most indecisive politicians we have. Look at Wamarwa, extremely timid.
No, you cannot allow Ruku to say.
Look at Raila, father of anarchy and chaos.
They are not here. Ruku, you cannot talk about Raila Odinga.
Let's talk about Ruku.
You cannot talk about Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka on this table. They are not on this
the individual.
No. You must address.
I was quiet. No. I was quiet when he was talking about.
It's just rules of it.
No, you can't.
When he was talking about the president, I was quiet.
It's a symbol of unity in the night.
Yes, I was quiet when he was. Why is he feeling a pain?
I'm not feeling pain. I'm just directing you that
no.
Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka on this table.
We have to call
on
Raila. Talk about the coalition.
The coalition, not the individual.
But I'm saying the coalition is made of extremely indecisive, timid fathers of chaos and anarchy in this country. And there's no Kenyan who is willing to follow that direction.
Let me tell you.
And we are looking forward for them to come up with any manner of coalition.
Okay. Trevor, let him finish.
Listen, Kalonzo Musyoka is saying he's going to be on his own. Mother Karua is in the bush. She did not even raise one single MCA through party, not Kenya. What is this you are telling Kenyans? That there's something good or strong can come out of what they are trying to come up with. So the thing is, let them change the style, and the style is go directly to the people. The issue of trying to bring so-and-so tribal groupings, the politics of this country is long gone from the tribal cocoons.
Okay.
You have to talk to Kenyans directly. Present yourself. Tell us what you are going to do and change this country.
Okay.
And the man who has that capacity, who has that strength, who has that will, and has a burning in his belly, is none other than William Samoei Ruto.
Okay.
He's a man
Trevor,
to lead this country for another 10 years.
Trevor.
Okay.
Trevor.
No, but Trevor, you can't keep on...
No, you are two. I'm against one.
No. You can't keep on giving the
You are two.
Yes.
Let me tell you. Honorable Ruku is disparaging Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Martha. Because today he feels that he sits in a position of power and is in the ruling party.
True.
But let me tell you, the people of Kenya that he is representing in parliament, I've already told him that, Roku, if you are not going to ensure that our children are in school, if you are not going to ensure that we eat, if you are not going to ensure that we have houses, you are not going to ensure that we are off this debt and off this heavy taxation, then we have no business
Trevor,
giving you another chance. Those are the people.
Trevor, I told you what Kenya Kwanza government has done to the people
lastly,
I represent.
Ruku, in his own imagination, he believes that the problem is, you know, these people all the time, their problem is Raila. Why do you fear this Raila so much? Because you know Raila has got the capacity and suitability to do the best for this country. He has done that.
I've seen
they fear
Raila is the father of
They fear
chaos.
Kalonzo because they now see that Honorable Kalonzo...
We're talking about the coalition.
No, I'm responding to what he said because I have to respond. That's why I'm here.
Trevor.
They fear Kalonzo because they know Kalonzo is equally suitable. They fear Martha because Martha has told them in Mount Kenya that we are not going to allow you to mistreat our people. When Mount Kenya caucus and gather, they fear, you know. But let me finish by saying, Trevor, we are not worried at all because the people of Kenya that he also represents have told us that we were misled, some of us. They got into a regime that they were told it is bottom up. Today, for sure, everything is from the bottom to up, skyrocketing. The cost of everything is going up. Now, they are saying, where's Raila Odinga? Where's Kalonzo? Where's Martha? We are telling them, we are building a bigger tent for you. Okay. And we are telling them, in our father's house, there's a big tent that accommodates all of you.
Let's bring up what the people are saying. It's, the people are speaking, Ruku. These are the people who put you in office. Let's hear what the people are saying. At Trevor Mbija, at Citizen TV Kenya, use the hashtag Daybreak. Let's see what the people are saying at this particular moment. Babu Michael says, as Kenya Kwanza government is happy about their projects and policies, they should as well be worried why they are always unpopular. People always support what is good. Okay? Samuel Wood says this fund should be instead given to the counties but supervised by the MPs. Lawmakers have no business with running affairs of public service other than the 3 roles assigned to them constitutionally. Okay? Leonard Masika says it's absurd that the Kenya Kwanza government is operating on deceptions. While releasing KCSE results, CS Mashogu said money had been remitted in school accounts. Headlines proved schools are in crisis. Kenyans are happy that its allies, like Honorable Chikati, have come into realization. Okay? And Brian Chemwa says, I agree with Honorable Chikati that there is public dissatisfaction with Treasury Ministry, which has consistently displayed incompetence. This may lead to financial mismanagement, economic instability, reduced investor confidence, potential harm to public services. Kevinsky Mori says, what is so different on what Ndungu is saying from what Gachagua is saying, that the government was broke sometimes last year? Hypocrisy. The only thing uniting MPs is NGCDF. Okay? Brian Chemo says, I agree with Honorable Chikati. I think we've read this one already. Let's bring up the other one. Chalu Woodrozy says, corruption in Kenya is chronic disease that is not ending anytime soon. The executive has benefited in one way or the other from the so-called corrupt judges. The president should allow the judiciary to do their work without intimidation. Anthony Mauta says, when the President Ruto says that they will deal with the rogue and corrupt individuals, yet they are not obeying court orders, then how will he do it if not in our courts? Or will the executive have its own judges? Interesting question. Injera Lazaro says, Honorable Ruku, courts are there to interpret the law as it is, unless Kenya Kwanza regime is advocating for imperial dictatorship president. No strange ideas without proper constitution through public participation. Okay? And Dima King says, the moment the people in power realize that the power of the people is greater than the people in power, there will be no ground for this regime to condemn the judiciary. We are all led by the Constitution, including Zakayo. So if judiciary does its job well, makofi too. Okay? Jeru says, it's sad that MPs are here lamenting on national TV over lack of money. Why can't they empower people to avoid relying on bursaries, improve coffee, tea, milk prices? People will not flock NGCDF offices over fees. Interesting. Chris says, MP Ruku confidently asserts that he allocated 10,000 checks to his constituents from the CDF kitty. However, it is essential to note that as per the CDF Act of 2013, the administration of the CDF was transferred from the MPs. Okay. All right. Gentlemen, that's why we leave it for now. We've run out of time. Honorable Geoffrey Rukumbere, North Member of Parliament, Frederick Okango, Kanu Political Affairs Secretary, and John Chikati, Member of Parliament for Tongaren. Asante sana for making time. And Secretary for Ford Kenya, John Chikati. All right. Thank you so much for making time. Coming up next is Cooking Tips.